How's it going, everyone? I am the Shaz here with your video on the 10th official SBL. Now, technically, this is the 12th when you include the Trial and School Idol Festival SBLs, but let's not get bogged down in the details, shall we? A couple of strategies for the songs we're about to cover have changed drastically because of the banners that have come out, so we'll need a little bit of time to cover them all. The songs for this SBL are Start Dash by Muse, Kowareyasuki by Guilty Kiss, and Wonderland, Kasumi's second solo. The MVP categories for this SBL are Voltage, SP gauges, and Stamina Heal tap skill activations. The stat buff for this SBL is a 20% stat buff to the first years, though this will probably only be relevant for one song, and I'll explain why in a bit. The first song in this SBL is Start Dash, arguably the most recognizable song in the Love Live fandom outside of Snow Halation. Start Dash is a natural attribute song that sports a 10% off attribute debuff, so if you're not running a fully on attribute team, bring a cleanser. There are two types of gimmick notes which come up in the middle of the song. The first gives a 10% skill activation rate up for the next 10 notes for natural attribute cards, occurring 3 times. The second isn't really much of a gimmick note at all, as if you miss the note, reduce your current SP gauge by a whopping 60%. But the beat map of the song is so easy, so it shouldn't be so much of a concern. The ACs are all voltage based and give benefits to natural attribute cards, with the first and fourth giving natural cards a 10% appeal buff, and the second and third giving an additional 20% SP gauge gain rate to natural cards. When it comes to what strategies are most likely to be seen from the top 100 voltage leaderboard players, there are basically 2 that will be seen the most. The first is a strategy based on the new second Festin, paired with the other 2 high appeal cards in the attribute, Initial Kanan and Welcome to the Party Kotori. The second strategy is the SP Gauge Cycle strategy featuring Fest Nozumi, Fest Emma, and the new Valentine's Day Honoka. If a whale is missing one of these cards, it will most likely substitute Serenade Maki in the missing hole, though running the second Festin isn't out of the question. You may also see a mixed strategy with Rin, Emma, and Honoka, but those will be more of an anomaly than the other 2 strategies. There are 2 URs that make for great backliners if you're fully on attribute, the aforementioned Party Kotori and Initial Mari, both of whom have same attribute appeal buffing passives. SP cheesers will most likely stick to their bread and butter. You may see Fest Nozo swapped out for Serenade Maki if someone really wants to exploit the middle 2 ACs and the skill activation rate up gimmick notes, but it's not entirely necessary. Same goes for Stamina Heal tap skill cheesers, though they are out of luck because, well, at this point on the global server, we don't have any URs with a Stamina Heal tap active. They're only in the SR slot. Just go with your best cheese and go win some MVPs. The second song is Kowareyasuki by Guilty Kiss, a cool attribute song that has a cleansable 20% off attribute debuff, so it's even more crucial that you bring a cleanser on this song. There are 3 gimmick notes in the song. The first heals you for 5k stamina for each guard type card in your formation, which happens 3 times. The second gives a skill activation rate up of 20% for guard type cards for the next 20 notes, which happens twice. And the last is a 10% gauge fill, which only comes once. There are 6 appeal chances, with the second and last requiring a 53k voltage gauge pop, and the other 4 requiring random obtainable amounts of voltage. Next, the intra AC gimmicks. The 2 gauge pop ACs restore 15% of your maximum stamina when you clear them. The first and fourth give a 20% appeal boost to cool attribute cards, and the third and fifth decrease appeal of non-guard type cards by a whopping 50%. There should be one constant about this song from all players. If you have Initial Yo or the first Fest Nico, use one of them in your backline, preferably Initial Yo. Remember, this song deals a staggering 1650 damage per note, so you'll want to utilize her even if she's at limit break 0. Initial Yo's LSA has a 40% chance to heal 20% of her stamina whenever you take over 1000 damage, regardless of which strategy she resides in for your formation, whereas Fest Nico only heals for 5% of her stamina whenever you take 500 damage and has a measly 10% skill activation rate. Even the best stamina healers have fits where they just won't activate their healing, so don't chance dropping your stamina into the yellow. I have a feeling we'll be seeing this one particular strategy from the top 100 voltage rankers, and that strategy involves the Aqua first years. Veggie Wonderland Yohane, Steam Maiden Maru, and Dreamland Ruby are all on attribute, have a same attribute appeal buff passive, and, most importantly, benefit from the 20% stat buff for first years. You may see smatterings of Fes I, Fes Mari, and Initial Maki, but that will be more of a backup plan. Fes I, Initial Maki, and Moon Rabbit Rico are good backline options though, as all have the same attribute appeal buff passive. Heal Cheesers shouldn't have too much of a problem with this song, though the voltage requirements for the 4th and 5th ACs may be a bit daunting if you're using low limit break healers. SP cyclers are in a bit of a bind as well, as you basically have to run Initial Yo in your backline, which means one less spot for a skill activation rate up upon strategy switch backliner. Outside of that, you'll probably see these SP cheesers run their best cards in the hope that they don't fail the song due to the damage that they take. The final song for this SBL is Wonderland, Kasumi's second solo. An active attribute song with a non-cleansable 20% off attribute debuff. This song, surprisingly, has no gimmick notes. There are 6 ACs in the song, all of which give a 30% appeal buff to voltage types during the ACs, with the third having a small SP gauge pop requirement and the rest requiring a flat voltage amount that shouldn't be too difficult to obtain. With this being an active attribute song, you should know what to expect from the voltage competitors. Fes Kanan and Fes Setsuna are a given. The final spot is up for debate and dependent on your card pool. Do you run Train Nico to cycle some extra SP gauges? Do you run an additional voltage type like Blue Amore Umi, Christmas Kotori, Toy Shop Panic Yo, or the brand new Party Eye? I would suggest that if you have more than one of these cards at max limit break, do some test runs beforehand to see which of these strategies scores the best for you. None of the aforementioned cards get the 20% stat boost, so your scores will be pretty close to what you will score during SBL. SP and heal skill cheesers aren't affected by anything in this song, so just use your best overall teams to go for those extra 1500 SBL tokens. Before we close out this video, a lot of you may be thinking, Shaz, I have 0 of the cards you mentioned as being good for voltage. Guess what? That's totally fine. If that is the case, here's what you should be doing in most instances. If you know you don't have enough stamina to last through the whole song without failing, take your 2 highest appeal cards and your best sustain card. Fes Mari, second Fes Yo, and second Fes Ellie are preferable since they're the highest scores. Then, backline a cleanser and cards with appeal boosting passives. If you are unsure of what types of cards have an appeal boosting passive, watch my introductory video on backliners that will be linked at the end of the video. And that, my friends, closes out this video going over the songs in the 10th official SBL. As always, a big thank you to Xifrid for help with some of the visual assets for the video. Finally, a big thank you to my Twitch subs, Shut It, 86 Romy, Poker Dottie, AJ Bailey 3, Kotaro-chan, Madeir Cutie, Captain Cupcake, Super Penguin 7, Spicy Quiche, Darkgenic Smash, Halcyon, Sinring, Animeholic, Niji Teddy, and Skeleton Clicker, most of whom have gifted subs or given bits in the channel as well. I've been I Am the Shaz, take it easy, be nice to each other, and I'll see you all next time.